Mitzvahs in themselves, like mitzvahs that you might fail to do properly or do at all, these are basically ritzonos, or they're actually even the giluyim. They're not like, I guess this is the parallel to Oyer, Etzem HaOyer, and Hispashtus Oyer. They're ritzonos, which if you don't do them, the rotzon is withdrawn. Is that correct?
No, you have to give me a context. What are you shooting for?
I'm shooting for the idea that we're discussing. I'm just trying to make the connection between what we're learning now and what we've been learning, and how we're learning this now a little more deeply than we did initially. That when we're saying how come tshuva is different, because all the mitzvahs represent rotzon, represent the rotzon of the Eibishter. And tshuva, we're saying, is different. But here in the first page, I don't have the book in front of me at this instant, he talks about how, or maybe I'm making this up, when you are not doing a mitzvah, so this rotzon is rejected, basically. It's not fulfilled. Am I wrong about that?
No. Well, that's obvious. If you don't do a mitzvah, you're rejecting this rotzon.
Right. So you would think, in that case, okay, fine, it's gone. The point of tshuva is that, I mean, it goes to a place where that rotzon itself is coming from. It like it goes over the head, like we say in a business. You go over the head of the rotzon to the Baal HaRotzon, right? And this is not.
There's two inyonim in tshuva.
Mm-hmm.
There is to bring the rotzon back.
Right.
But that is the lesser of the two. The bigger in of the rotzon is to wipe away the sin. It's called slichas avenos.
What is bringing back the rotzon? Bring the rotzon back. What does that mean?
Bringing the rotzon back means that this person who had rebelled should be welcomed back.
I don't get the correspondence there. Bringing the rotzon back.
Being a goodwill towards him.
That's rotzon. I see. Bringing him.
See, there's one term that you didn't mention. That the mitzvahs come from what's called Gilui HaRotzon.
Gilui, no, I said that, but that's okay. Yeah.
Shochas HaRotzon.
Right.
That is the mitzvahs. And tshuva, like you said, goes above the head. It goes beyond that.
Right.
And the principle of tshuva, the most important aspect of tshuva is this slichas avenos.
This he only gets by going beyond the ritzonos completely.
Right.
But tshuva differs from other mitzvahs in both of these respects. There isn't any other mitzvah that does either of these things, right?
Yeah.
Karbonis?
Karbonis?
Ritzu.
Yeah, karbonis is also a different tshuva.
Karbonis is tshuva. So all of this is basically to mach starker the question of how come we are mevatling this for the efshar that you're going to carry something on Shabbos. Is that correct? This question is becoming harder all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point over here. Well, the point was made right in the onset that you mevatel a mitzvah midiraisa because of some gzeira d'rabbanan.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, it's not a plain mitzvah; it's a special mitzvah. It's a unique kind of mitzvah, a mitzvah that is greater than all other mitzvahs.
And then we will have to explain how it's greater than all other
That's
mitzvahs.
right.
But now we did that.
Well,
So
we almost accomplished it.
We're doing it. At which point the question that we originally asked is going to become a way tougher question.
Yes, it won't be a tougher question. It will be its toughness will be better understood.
Its toughness will be better
Because we are not adding anything to toughness. We just simply we said that it's a very special mitzvah because it goes straight to the Baal Harotzah, to the Mitzvah.
Right.
So yes, but all mitzvahs relate to the Mitzvah. So where is the clarity of this? The difference.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, we explained that yes, all mitzvahs go to the mitzvah, but the mitzvah mitzvah is behelem.
Right. But tshuva, it goes to what is behelem.
Tshuva, this is what tshuva is. Tshuva has no other aspect except to relate to the mitzvah mitzvahs.
In tshuva, this morning you brought back the mashal of the host, right?
Right.
And you, I didn't, if I understood, I'm not sure I understood correctly, but it's like you were saying, the meal that's being served, these are like the ritzaynais.
Right, this is like the mitzvahs.
The mitzvahs.
The special, they said that in the mitzvah there are two kavanas.
Mm-hmm.
One kavanah in mitzvah is the meaning of that mitzvah itself.
Right. And the second is Kabbalah Sel Malchus Shemayim.
Right.
So the host in our mashal is like the mitzvah hamitzvahs.
Mm-hmm.
But the host in our mashal, we still know that the presence of the host, which is what he gives you by being there, is not his essence. It's the gili of his essence. His essence you never know, right?
The presence of the host himself, yes, the presence does not express itself in any particular sense, in any particular message.
Right.
This is like having the relating to the host himself.
So,
the Metzius.
To the Metzius of the host, but not to the etzem of the host. The etzem of the host you don't ever know, really. Isn't that how we read
it's when the host agrees to be with you. But in that agreement, it is presenting himself. It's not presenting. It's called presenting the etzem harotzon, not any kind of hamshoch and gili harotzon.
And this is where we're going with tshuva.
Right.
Okay. Ad kan, my
Did
question.
Were you present when we discussed? This was yesterday, I think. We went all the way to the beginning, and we started talking about rotzen. What is the essential principle of rotzen? Of the essential rotzen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So therefore, the essential rotzen is truly representative of what he is.
This is essentially like, I hate to be going back and forth, but it's not possible to not do that right now. This is like Tzura Atzmi, or Atzmi.
Right.
It's not Atzmus, but it's the first thing. It's whatever. It's as close as you can get to knowing Atzmus.
It is representing Atzmus.
Non-functionally.
Beyond function.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Non-functionally.
Is there still water in there?
Oh, get more.
You have to use the cup.
Pour.
Okay, I'm
There's a cup
satisfied
there.
at
There's a
this
cup
point.
there by the water pot. All right.
I'll get out of your way now.
The Russian Rotzen that we're using, but when Tshuva, we're talking about becoming Merutze, to be Meratze, Ritzu, Ritzu. What is, how does that fit in with Rotzen when we talk about the Rotzen on mitzvahs? Rotzen is his first Gilui, how does that? In English we also use goodwill, will. The word will, but
and it's a very what's called a gentle topic, and we're talking about in Atzmos, and yet we are using mishalim from in human terms. So before we go there, we have to again repeat the point as that the whole concept of an etzem does not exist in our intellectual perceptions. Anything that can be understood has to have a means of which you grasp it, which means a means of grasp means to say, what brought this about? What's the cause of it, and how does it happen? Etzem does not have any of these parameters. The whole concept of etzem cannot be conceptualized in a graspable manner. Okay, having said that, and our moshel for that from the human being, because the human being, as we said, is B'tzal Meinik et Mosei. He is representative in the world. The human being is representative in the world. The fact that there is a creator, that it's not evolutionary, that there is a creator who is beyond the world. And the human being represents a certain principal truth. And that becomes evidenced as in the various things that we pointed out. One is the concept of ownership, that you can own property. Another that we pointed out, the very fact that the human being stands up on 2 feet. Standing on 2 feet defies a rationale. An explanation. He's standing 2 feet because he wants to, because that's what he is. There is not let's put it in their terms. In their terms, that everything seeks security, seeks to assure its what's the word again? It's
self-preservation.
Preservation, huh?
Survival.
Preservation, so forth. How is standing on 2 feet a step towards self-preservation? On the contrary, it's putting itself into a vulnerable position. You're not even standing steadily. The most vulnerable entity in the world is a human being standing on 2 feet.
Does this correspond to Chai Noise Satzman?
There is an aspect of this also, but the Chai Noise Satzme is a spirit. We're not talking about spirit, we're talking about essence. Because the union of Chai Noise Satzme lahavdil by an animal also is present. But this is
what is that term? Chai?
Chai Noise Satzme. The living carries itself. Like if you take a person out, to carry a person out on Shabbos into Rishus HaRabim, you're potter. Because a Chai Noise Satzme. A child that you carry.
Even if he's carried.
Even if he's carried. It's not called that you're carrying. A child who is able to walk, technically you're allowed to carry him on Shabbos. We obviously don't. So again, I'm saying there are it is within, we have a perception, we are the human being, senses a reality that is completely beyond natural reality. This is representative of the fact that the creation represents something which is beyond natural development.
I'm sorry. What is the point that you're of going back to this discussion now? I maybe missed that.
To point out that we are talking about etzem and rotzen coming from an etzem. Okay, we haven't changed the topic at all. We're talking about etzem, and in the meantime, as I mentioned etzem, again pointing out we're talking about something that defies a natural grasp, because there is nothing in the world that justifies the existence of etzem. It is something which is clearly outworldly. And you say that the human being is a clear representation of that if we understand anything about the human being. And what is the point? When you say that there is the etzem, this is the mitzvah hamitzvah, and from this etzem comes there is a rotzen. And this rotzen exists in the essential state and in the hamshocha and the gilui state. So we explained yesterday, this is quite a daring statement, but I hope we can understand the significance of this. That what is this essential rotzen? Essential rotzen is the rotzen that is representative of this etzem. That rotzen. That rotzen is on par in terms of madriga of the etzem. Like we explained, kol dover reitze bikiyume. Everything wants to be what it is. Bikiyume, to be what it is. Again, we made a very clear distinction between that and their interpretation of that he wants to survive. It's not even a question of survival. It's a question of being what he is. And why does he want to be what he is? Because he senses because the richness of what he is. This is what he appreciates. This is what he wants. That is, again, this goes together with the etzem. And then there is the hamshocha and gilui of that. The hamshocha of gilui, that means how does this rotzen affect and express itself to the outside. Like, for example, in the human being, due to the fact that the human being is, and that he has a rotzen to be a human being, he wants to have a neat home. A neat home, that's not the human being. But it is representative of, this is the hamshoch of that rotzen. Because it's representative of something that of an intelligent being where everything has its place and has its specific meaning. Everything finds its place. It's not just haphazard. Like a human being, everything is orderly. It starts from seichel, from chochmah, bina, das, and then to midas, machshava dibur ma'aser. Everything is in a meaningful and organized fashion.
My father used to say, a place for everything, and for everything a place.
Okay. That's very, very profound. So this is what's called a gilui harotzen. It's the gilui of the essential rotzen of a human rotzen. It is not just a practical statement. It's advantageous to have it so that when you have to put something down, you'll have a place to put it down. It's not just that. It is actually accommodating and representative of what a human being is. That's when gilui harotzen. Mitzvahs are related to the gilui harotzen. And then we said that even that in mitzvahs, rotzen is always traceable back to the Metzaveh HaMitzvahs, because that's what the rotzen is. Rotzen ultimately is coming from the essence that he wants what he is.
So that's the fulfillment.
But this is even though, so he's saying that the Metzaveh HaMitzvah is there in the background, but only in the background. It's behelem. The mitzvah per se, do it this way and don't do it this way, more directly, and is structured on the basis of rotzen, of the gilui harotzen, not on the mitzvah. To trace it back to the mitzvah is goes through many rounds, many steps. Not only that it goes through many steps. The very fact that there is a rotzen and there is a tzivui, to trace that back to the mitzvah is very, very goes very, very deep. It's not obvious in the external. Like we said in the case of a neat home. A neat home, of course, is practical. When the things arrive, where am I going to put them? I'm going to the grocery, and I come back to the groceries. Where am I going to put them? I'm going to hold them on my hand, like the bag lady. So I have to have things organized so I'll be able to. This is all on the practical level. We don't even notice immediately the rotzen element in this. How this is representative of human quality. But in fact it is, and it's traceable all the way. But this is not what the mitzvah itself is built upon. It's constructed from. But, and this is why mitzvahs, because that ultimately the principle of mitzvah is to fulfill the rotzen of the Metzaveh HaMitzvah, this is why mitzvahs have to be preceded by Kabbalah Seil Malchus Shomayim. So that it will be clear that when you do the mitzvah, it is not because of the advantages, and the practical advantages, the moral advantages, intellectual advantages of the mitzvah, but you're doing it because there is a mitzvah.
Practical aspect of having place to put things.
Having a means to deal with people. Like we said, don't steal so that your object don't get stolen. In order to get a real meaning in mitzvahs, particularly when you talk about mitzvahs mishpotim, you have to preamble this with a recognition that there is a mitzvah mitzvah, and that's what you're relating to. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. And then, so that is like in the mitzvahs. Then we say, so therefore in mitzvahs also there's Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. There is also the mitzvah mitzvahs. Now we have to go and distinguish in such a subtle way that there are different madrigas in Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. This Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, the way it is in the throughout the year, that's called for fulfillment of mitzvahs. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, which just comes once a year, like on Rosh Hashanah. So different kind of Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. Essentially, so this is a way. It's Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim. The Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim throughout the year is that element of Kabbalah that compels you to do what the Melech told you to do. It's Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, but it has a functional definition. Therefore, it still has to do with the mitzvahs. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, that is necessary in order to do mitzvahs in a proper way. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim of Rosh Hashanah is an entity unto itself. I just want to, as I'm thinking, just to clarify this. We said in the case of the host and the guest that despite the fact that the principal thing is the host, the presence of the host, but the relationship is expressed through the meal. Right? He serves a meal. If the host leaves, then everything is lost. But if he doesn't serve a meal, then there is the practical, the essential message missing, that there is a relationship. The relationship is expressed through the meal. This inyan, that their relationship to a meal, this is Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim throughout the year. The presence of the host, and the normal way that where that presence compels you to do mitzvahs. Rosh Hashanah, there is no meal served. It's just the presence alone, the recognition of the Melech. The focus entirely on the presence of the Melech, nothing else. That's the Rosh Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur is a different thing. Yom Kippur is after Rosh Hashanah. But Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim is on Rosh Hashanah. And Tshuva is akin the insulation from Rosh Hashanah.
It sounds like it's synonymous with Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim.
It's synonymous, but on a different level. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim with ramifications, without ramifications, with consequences, without consequences. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim, where you can say, okay, so therefore, what next? That is Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim normally. That it precedes my mitzvahs. Kabbalah Malchus Shemayim Rosh Hashanah, you can't even ask what next.
Regular Kabbalah soul has that element of what next?
Yeah, what is it? What, what's the consequence?
What's the outcome?
What's the outcome? Yeah. What do you do with that? Kabbalah said Malchus Shamayim, and what the Malchus Shamayim said I should do mitzvahs. Therefore I'm doing mitzvahs. Rosh Hashanah is completely different phenomenon. That's why, when the Rebbe said that Rosh Hashanah, the primary occupation of Rosh Hashanah is to say Tehillim. Tehillim to Tzibachos. Not learning, not getting engaged in anything, in any kind of intellectual relationship or midas relationship, just to say Tehillim. Tehillim to Tzibachos. Because Rosh Hashanah is not, in the Kabbalah of Rosh Hashanah is the recognition exclusively of the presence of the Melech. Not how it affects me. Not how I understand it, what it means to me.
Yeah, but this is a different type of tshuva than the rest of the 10 days of tshuva and throughout the year as well?
Well, this is another time. They said that this is the Hatshut.
It's like being in the throne room.
What's that mean?
It's like actually entering the throne room, not
That's
just being
right.
in the home.
That's right. The throne room. That's why Rosh Hashanah would say, a Melech Yoshev al Kis. And the Melech Ha Yoshev al Kis, the Melech Yoshev al Kis. A Melech Ha Yoshev al Kis means the Melech who sits on the throne. Which means you're talking about a phenomenon that is behind closed doors. Yoshev al Kis, you're saying, oh, he's sitting right here. Not Ha Yoshev, but Yoshev.
Just that you explained this morning about that the reality is like coming, it's not coming from you, it's coming from the Melech himself. That reality, this is the distinction between regular Kabbalah soil and Kabbalah soil.
Mm-hmm.
So Kabbalah soil on Rosh Hashanah, the Melech is really there. So that reality he's being makabel that reality, whereas the regular during the year, what's going on? He's behelem.
Right. That's what the Rebbe says. We have to the extent possible, understand the significance of these words. The Iker Inyan Kabbalah Seil Malchus Shamayim Berosh Hashanah. Who Berosh Hashanah? The principle in Kabbalah Seil Malchus Shamayim is on Rosh Hashanah. Okay, this is about a third down the page. The line begins with Hu Berosh Hashanah. We learned it during this. I'm just kind of quoting for our discussion. Hu Berosh Hashanah. And Rebbe explained. Vihi. Okay, let's try and understand what is Rebbe explaining. Bepnimius nafshe mamosh. What does it mean? What does the word mamosh add? Pnimius nafshe. What does the word mamosh add? Let's see if we can focus and understand the following. Anything that a person does, no matter the extent to which this is significant to him, and he's dedicated to it. But he is doing something and he's aware of what he's doing. He's contemplating, what should I do? This is where, yes, it may be rooted in Primus HaNefesh and it really compels him and pushes him and so forth, but he's able to contemplate on it. He's able to identify with it and understand what it is that he's doing. That's not complete, it's not Primus HaNefesh Mamosh. It comes from the Primus HaNefesh, but not the Primus HaNefesh itself. because he already had been translated on the intellectual and emotional level. Pnimis nafshe mamosh means it has not left, it did not leave the nefesh. It is a nefesh itself. Now, as we said this morning, how does a nefesh itself, how does a person activate his nefesh? He can't activate his nefesh. A person can do only seichel and midas. What activates his nefesh? The presence of the king, that activates the nefesh. In other words, this is something which comes from his recognition of the presence of the king himself. It's not something that he contemplates and recognizes the significance of it.
He doesn't contemplate. It's a direct recognition.
It's a direct presence, yes. That's what you said. It's like Nasa v'nishma. Nasa v'nishma doesn't make any sense. What are you going to do when you don't know what you're supposed to do? And what are you relating to? You're relating to something that you don't know. Exactly. And if you don't know, how do you relate to it? No, I don't know, he knows.
It sounds like Merkava. It sounds like...
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Total Kabbalah says, "B'pnimis nafshe mamos." The word mamos is to denote that it has not been processed through your faculties, no matter how fine or high the faculties are. Like we said this morning, and you recorded it nicely, that it says in the Zohar that Ihu, Atzmos, the Meibash, is loit mashot tfisa klal. No thought can grasp him, but berusa deliba he is grasping. Watching berusa deliba, the will of the heart. So we explained. We explained this morning. We explained other times. There's a principal difference between the heart and the mind. The mind can discern, can search, can take things piecemeal, one step at a time. It makes sense and it can grow. The heart does not have that process at all. The heart, either it is touched or it's not touched.
The heart what?
Either it's touched or it's not touched. And it's touched not because you're explaining to yourself something and that's it. It doesn't work. It's there. It's the mahus. The heart goes straight to the mahus. To the reality itself. So even though we're always pointing out the supremacy and the quality of the mind, say this is the ikir and so this is what the nefesh is in Slavish, that's only in the gilui hanefesh. In the etzem, it's in the heart. Chayus is in the heart. Gilui hachayus is in the mind. But the actual chayus is in the heart.
But we need the mind to get to the heart. Right?
Only to be megala what's in the heart. The essential life is in the heart. That's not through the mind. That's where the nefesh is.
So on Rosh Hashanah, when the Melech is mamish there, that reality touches the heart.
That reality
touches the heart.
Touches the heart. That's why
the heart is affected from that reality.
That's right. You're not going to. That's why the mind is bypassed completely.
What's with Amoyach Sholet Alalev?
That's only on the practical level. That's on the Giluyim. Amidos. That has to do with Seichel and Midos. Moyach Shalgal has to do with the Midos. When Moyach begins to be Shalat Alalev on an essential level, that's Rahman Islam when you get cripples, people who can't orient themselves in their own lives.
If you're trying to do that on an essential level. Okay.
Right.
Because on an essential level, the heart
is the source of his life. feeling it. I mean, the essential living.
And mind is ruled by that heart, or mind is
Mind
no
is
place there
mind
really?
gets it
Mind-
from mind. The mind does not rule by the heart. It
Uh-huh.
gets it once you're alive, so the mind can understand how you're supposed to live. What is life about? Gilu Harotzen is in the mind.
Seems like most of the time we talk about the evil of the heart, how it's like leading us towards.
Again, this is all in terms of Giluyim. I don't want to go very far into this. Just very simple. Because in the heart you have a sense of total reality, invulnerability. And so therefore you're geared totally to be constantly satisfying that sense. On a practical level, that becomes that's complete misinterpretation of the human presence in the world. But the essential reality itself is bemisons in the heart. That's the real need for spiritual to believe. This is what he says over here. This is why tefillah, Avedas tefillah is called Aveda Shebelev. And Avedas tefillah, we all know, is deeper in terms of its connection toward the Meibushin than Torah.
We're using the word heart, but it's like you say, the heart of the matter.
Yeah, that's right. In French, the heart is called the cœur. The cœur comes from the word ikor.
Mm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we started over there, so let me just finish on line. Vehi b'pnimis nafshei mamos. Mamos means the nefesh itself, the pnimis nefesh itself, not translated in the intellect and intellectually and emotionally. Shenoisen esatzmei b'chol atzmusei, that he dedicates himself, he gives himself over b'chol atzmusei, his entire self, b'his galus Mamush. His galus mamush. His galus mamush means this is the principle of tshuva. This is a phenomenal inyan, where in the moment of tshuva, in the moment of Rosh Hashanah, the moment when you, like you said, you're in the throne room, you relate to the king not via your faculties, not by understanding the greatness of the king and by any kind of emotional attachment. It is totally oneness with the king. This is all it is. All there is the king. There's not even a personal presence. Chol atzmus mamash, be his galus mamash. In other words, the whole etzem comes forth in total gilu, to full expression. He functions on Rosh Hashanah at the level that he doesn't function throughout the year. Throughout the year, you don't function on that level. Throughout the year, you function on the intellectual level, emotional level. Rosh Hashanah, you function on a different level.
Rabbi, what does it say mamish the second time?
But his galus mamush. The second mamush is not describing where it's coming from, but the state at which it is there. In other words, what he's trying to say, what he's saying is that there it is not only the pnimius mamash. That was only the essence. The essence comes forth in full expression. There's nothing else existent. Only that essence. This is the and I'll explain how does that happen. This cannot happen through an intellectual process, as we explained. It's not something that you can create for yourself. This can happen only by the presence of the King himself.
Rabbi, I'm having a little difficulty here. Because we're saying, I'm thinking once it says that it's coming from the pnimius of his nefesh, mamash, where none of the other faculties are involved, then and then it says that he gives him his whole self in a revealed form. Isn't it obvious, since it's coming from his pnimius mamash, that it would be with his whole essence in a revealed way mamash, like without mentioning that?
No, it could be the pnimius nefesh and staying the pnimius.
I'm saying once it says the pnimius nefesh mamash, then when it says b'chol atzmusa b'iskalus, since that's coming from the pnimius nafshe mamash, like what else could
in
it
the
be?
pnimius and nefesh, this is why. If you're talking about pnimius nafshe mamash, and pnimius and nefesh, this is true all the time.
Okay.
So what is Kabbalah soil machos shomayim add to that? Kabbalah soil machos shomayim adds to that this, which is pnimius nafshe, he actually dedicates that totally to machos shomayim.
What's the relation between Kör and Ikar?
Kör means the heart.
Yeah.
I have to never tell you, right?
You don't have to tell me.
Ikar means principle,
Uh-huh.
right? What's Ikar?
Okay, principle. So it's...
Ikar is like the pivot. Like if you can balance this on the pin, it's called Ikar.
So it's the fundamental...
The whole reality, the principle reality. V'hu inyan echad, let's pursue it from there. V'hu inyan echad im inyan hatshuva, וכמו שכוסף במוקים אחר. In the AyinBase and Rosh Hashanah is inyan echad im inyan hatshuva. Is one and the same meaning as in Yahshua. Ava b'chol Hashanah, but throughout the year, gam behakavono, the mitzvah is, even when we are dealing with the kavono of mitzvahs, now it's not throughout the day, but even kavono of mitzvahs, einay b'bchinas pnimius kol kach. It is not in a state of pnimius kol kach, to that extent. The Kabbalah say Malchus Shamayim, the Chol HaYoim, because the Kabbalah say Malchus Shamayim that persists throughout the year, the day, Harei Zeh Behelem. The Kabbalah say Malchus Shamayim that's throughout the day, which is necessary throughout the day, it is Behelem, Kineda. It is there someplace internal. So this is throughout the day. However, we have to, but the big point that we are pointing out is that Gama Kabbalah say Malchus Shamayim shetzorich li is koidem kol mitzvah. Even the Kabbalah say Malchus Shamayim that is specifically necessary before each mitzvah, in order to correlate the mitzvah to its giver, so even that Kabbalah says that precedes the mitzvah is not in a manner of pnimius as it is in Rosh Hashanah. Because as we said, that Kabbalah Seir Machas Shamayim throughout the year, even though it's Kabbalah Seir Machas Shamayim, but it has ramifications, has a consequence. I'm going to do the mitzvah because of Kabbalah Seir Machas Shamayim. Okay. Avo mitzvahs hatshuva, but the mitzvah of tshuva hine hamshochos olemato, the hamshocha of the mitzvah of tshuva itself. How the mitzvah of tshuva has, so to speak, evolved downwards to come to us, that we should have the mitzvah of tshuva. Okay, I really would like everybody to wake up and to understand this. This is a phenomenal statement. The mitzvah of tshuva, the hamshocha of mitzvah of tshuva, how the mitzvah of tshuva was given to us. Why do we have the mitzvah of tshuva? Like we said before, that Rotzoin, it is a Rotzon Atzmi. What is Rotzon Atzmi? Representative of what the Etzem is. Like we said, called over Eitzim, everything wants to be what it is. Why? Because everything appreciates the godly element in what it is, what the godly spirit that was represented by this thing. A human being wants to be a human, not a human. He wants to be himself, the human being that the Rebbe made him. This is inherent in the Nefesh Adam, in the Nefesh of everything that was created. Not only the Nefesh Adam, even an inanimate object, the rock, the tree, has a godly representation. Like we said, that you take an apple. Why is the apple so beautiful? Why isn't it coming? If the apple consists of its minerals and vitamins and all that, it should come in some kind of crushed leaves form. No, it comes in a beautiful form. And this is how it's presented to the human being. Why? Because it represents a godly beauty. That's what it is. And it's wanting, and it's proud of being what it is. Called over Eitzim. So that is true in all mitzvahs, because in mitzvahs, every mitzvah represents a certain aspect of the godly truth. Why so? Because there is a Rotzon Atzmi by the Meibush. The Rotzon Atzmi is the Rotzon that represents what Atzmus. And from that Rotzon emanate all the mitzvahs. And from this we have all the entire reality that the Rebbe has imbued, so to speak, into the world, representing the reality of that Rotzon. Okay, so this is what all the mitzvahs come. That's why we said mitzvahs are rooted in the Gilui HaRotzon. That's like we said before. Okay, I'd like you to understand. A human being wants a neat home. What is the house that relates to the human being? They mention the human being on the Rotzon level, recognizing who he is, and sensing who he is, and sensing his primary being what he is. That demands that it be neat, that it be be a home. They should have a home, like we said. Odom shein Beis shein Odom. This is all based on the Rotzen element, how the essence is expressed in the Rotzen. He wants to be what he is.
It's not based on what he is, it's based on his Ratzon.
That's right, based on the Rotzen element. That's right, but of course what he is not beyond doesn't need anything. It's a primary reality. It's not affected by anything.
So this neat home is like based on Ratzon, the Kiyum, like.
That's right. This is the Ratzon. This is the Gili HaRatzon. That his presence, his essence, is the Gili. My hands are not snapping anymore. Okay. So this is all Gili HaRatzon. Mitzvahs HaTshuva is not stating anything. Act this way. Do it this way. Keep Shabbos. Remember, Sheish Yomas Hashem, that the Rebbe created the world in 6 days. 6 days represent the 6 midas and Malchus and all. Nothing.
It does not say return to me.
Where does it come from? What is the Mitzvah Tshuva about? How is it? In what way is that representing the Rotzen element? Okay, so look inside now. Avo mitzvah as mitzvah tshuva. Hine hamshochoso lemato. The hamshoch of the mitzvah tshuva as it coming lemato, hu mibchiras asmus and soif mamosh. It is from the aspect of asmus and soif. Shalamaylo mibchiras gil. That the etzem which is lamaylo mibchiras gil above the whole concept and principle of Gilus. And as the Posuk expresses it, Ki ha-mitzvah hazois asher aneichi mitzavcho. This mitzvah which I'm commanding you, mitzavcho hayoim, this is mitzvah, this is a Posuk in Parshas Nitzavim. Ki ha-mitzvah hazois asher aneichi mitzavcho. Which mitzvah is he referring to? That mitzvah is talking about the mitzvah of tshuva. And by mitzvah of tshuva, he says, "Dim mitzvah asher anoichi mitzavcha." What is the emphasis? Asher anoichi mitzavcha. The neida. It's known that the word anoichi used in this posuk is referring to the hainu bechinas anoichi. He's referring to anoichi to the essence itself, myself. As it says, this is higher than any kind of guilt.
Well, there's a mitzvah, Anechi Hashem Alekecha. That's not tshuva, right?
That's not a mitzvah. That's before a mitzvah.
It's not a mitzvah.
No, Anoichi comes into Hashem and then comes into Alekecha. Anoichi comes into Havaya and Alekecha, and then you have mitzvahs. Anoichi Mishu Anoichi. This is above everything. By Kabbalah Torah, there was like this thing in Anoichi. That's why it says Nasev and Kedim and Nishma, as we mentioned before. So Anoichi Hainu Hamshochoso Lamato, which means to say that the Hamshoch of this mitzvah, Lamato Hu Mibchinas Anoichi Mish Anoichi. That's what it says. Anoichi is not definable in any supreme manner. Seichel, Midas, Chochma, whatever, Rotzen, Oin, none of that. It's not Rotzen, it's Anoichi, Mish Anoichi. It's the reality, the godly reality itself.
I am what I am, and Mish Anoichi.
Anoichi, Mish Anoichi.
How would you get separated?
Even when that mitzvah is revealed here, that mitzvah is on our level, it reflects not a Gilui Haratzon like all the other mitzvahs, but it reflects here, even on this, on here,
Anoichi, Mish Anoichi.
the Etzem Haratzon.
That's right.
Rabbi, Anoichi is not Emunah, a mitzvah.
Amunah is it says Amunah. There's the mitzvah Amunah and there is the fact of Amunah. The mitzvah Amunah is that you should be misboinen and all that. That's a mitzvah. But the essential union that every Yid has Amunah, this is not a mitzvah. It's have to be a mitzvah. This is something which is inherent in the nefesh. This is essence to essence.
This morning made a point about that there couldn't be a Nasa by itself was not enough. You had that Nasa Mishma.
Right.
And how would that relate to Nasa is the Indian that.
So I explain on this. Okay, you're with me, right? Nasa by itself is denoting submission, which is entirely, so to speak, milmata from our this is our submission, our doing. I'm submitting. That does not get there. Nasa v'nishma is a different statement over there. Why am I going to be a nishma after the nasa? Because you, Rebbeinu Shalom, have given me seichel and midas. In other words, it's not something which is of my making. You
so this is equivalent to Baruch on Rosh Hashanah.
That's right. It's a complete. That's right. It's relating to the very essence. And by nishma, because you made me, so I have. This is what I quote all the time from Ibn Ezra. Remember that? Kilach Bruani v'Yomar Chayon. Von Azemer, Ashir from Ibn Ezra. Van de Sipein, de Sidurim, Ashnaim Sidurim. Keil Echad Bruani v'Yomar Chayon. You weet wat kan we doen? What's it pshat? He created me. Omer Chayon. How do I know that I'm alive? Not because of my own experience of life. He told me you should know that you're alive. Oh, that brings me to life. That's the real meaning of life. If I'm alive because of my own experience, it's not the real thing.
The regular Nasa is
Okay. So let's complete over here. We have to go down. So I am shechosel lamato mebchinas onoichi misha onoichi. Shuva is nimshach lamato, nimshach lamato mamash. Now it's not the origin, the source. Every mitzvah has the mitzvah. But the actual hamshoch of tshuva here lamato, how tshuva is described here lamato, how tshuva functions, is the union for recognition of the onoichi mishonah. Okay, and with this we will conclude tonight's.
David Daviner is sponsoring this Shabbos for bringing in honor of his wife's birthday, and we'll do next week.
Good enough.
He's
Good enough,
he's sponsoring all along.
Oh, na ni na, amina, 1, 2, 3. Brother, keep your head up. I know you're fed up, but the Jews got the move. Let the heart don't let up. Things get in the way to discern. Ooh, thank you, Tati, for letting me learn, letting me earn, and taking my turn. I know.